it's time for a Shake that video review.
Hello everyone, I'm going to be reviewing another Lightning Collection figure, and sorry for the sudden change in background. I normally use a black towel, but for whatever reason, I guess because of this figure's coloration, it kept wanting to turn the light on every time I recorded, and I don't want to deal with, having an auto-focusing problem, so I figured the easiest solution just change the color of the towel for one review. So yes, we have Power Rangers Beast Morphers Red from the Lightning Collection in front of us, and this figure, unfortunately, this figure has one flaw in it that just makes me scratch my head and go, why? And, now, overall, this figure is just about perfect. Just like every other Lightning Collection figure I've picked up so far, the posability is fantastic. Double-jointed elbows, double-jointed knees. There is a messed up foot. I want to say that's a factory defect on mine. I might look into getting a second one, especially since if I do get a second one, I plan on fixing the issue I'm about to get to. But I don't seem to have any other big issues with this figure. At least that isn't contained to it being an American collectible figure, which we'll get into. Overall, the sculpt is really good. They one thing I will give this figure, regardless of some issues I have, are the sculpt. I mean, they actually made the toy look like it's the actor in the suit. The leather crinkles in certain parts where joints more heavily move. So it looks really good in that opinion. But I'm going to get out of the way. I really do not like the fact that the strap is not attached to the body in any way. It just sort of sits there. I can understand it not being attached here at the shoulders. It would have messed with shoulder posability. I get that. I own a Japanese Go Buster figure art, so I know what it can do to posability if these are attached to the body. What I don't understand is why it's not glued or pegged in to the back. That makes no sense to me. I can't understand why Hasbro did it that way. It bugs me for some reason that they did not, at minimum, glue it in, and at maximum, pegged that bad boy in, and then put a tap of glue in it as well. So yeah, it kind of bugs me. But overall, I do like the figure. Now, he does come with a gaggle of accessories. Besides the usual hands, besides the other hands, he has another closed fist hand for this hand, and an opened palm hand for this to replace this hand. He also comes with the the Go Buster's Japanese, the Beast blade. I'm not sure what they call this in the show. I don't actually watch the Beast Morphers Power Ranger show. I really only collect these figures for more of the Japanese figure concept. It comes with one of those supercharged blasters. I'm sure, again, this has a name. I just don't know it. I'm sure I'll be corrected in the comment section by someone somewhere. An effect part for the blade, and I actually really liked this effect part. That's nice. And the unmorphed head. Now, this particular sculpt, when I got it out of the box, had a lot of, as you can see, that very nicked. Let me readjust the light. That nicked up spot. There was a lot of extra plastic from where I guess the mold injector was put, and I tried my best to try to scrape off the excess, but I think it just went a little too much. I'm not going to hold that against the figure itself, as again I've mentioned, I'm not collecting these for Power Ranger reasons. I'm collecting these more for Super Sentai reasons, so This head is probably just going to spend the rest of its life in the baggie and probably never be used. So, not a big loss for me, and I'm not going to hold that against the figure. Overall, the sculpt is nice. The communicator / morpher looks really good, although could use a splash more of blue paint in my opinion. And whatever they're using to mold it, probably should not have the mold injector working from the top. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. You can just barely make out. Let me get it a little bit closer, possibly. You can just kind of barely make out on the orange piece. It looks like the mold injector was put right there. For future reference, Hasbro, I'd recommend not doing that. Hold on. That's better. Not there. Back. There we go. I need a better cameraman. But other than that, it is a really good design. I like the sculpt. I like the fact the zipper is actually textured. It's not just painted on. That's really nice. Despite this being, come on, zoom. They could have easily sculpted that to say Beast Morphers, but it looks like they kept the Go Buster symbol in there, so that was really cool. Like I said, I'm collecting these for Super Sentai reasons, not Power Ranger reasons, so for me, that's a bonus. Now I will say, the box is a bit of a lie. If you look how the box is holding the saber, yeah. Hasbro, whoever's doing your photo editing, fire them now. That is a lie. The closed fist hand cannot hold this blade. Only the trigger finger hand for the gun can hold that blade. Seriously, Hasbro, whoever's doing your photo editing needs to be fired. Because that's straight up a lie. Now for one quick comparison, I have the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Green Spirit Ranger here. And yeah, they scale pretty well. But like I said, they had to pretty much use a brand new sculpt for this guy. Because, you know, it is just, I don't think there's, outside of maybe the hands, I don't think there's a shared part on these two. So it shows Hasbro definitely has a dedication to at least making newer, better figures. And they're not afraid of just sculpting a brand new mold for these figures, which it makes me excited for the more kind of different suit designs down the line, like Mystic Force and oh fudge, Ninja Storm. That's the one I'm thinking of. Man, I'm losing my mind. But yeah, this figure is pretty good. Again, like I said earlier, the accessories are really good. I like the effects parts, but this figure, much like with the Spirit Ranger and some other sword-wielding figures I've gotten my hands on, shows a massive flaw. And I finally found the figure that I can show you what Hasbro needs to start doing for the future. Now, this is Figma Link. Do ignore that the sword does not have its pommel, but I had to leave it in the baggie so it would be easier to show the difference. Now, do you see how he's holding his sword kind of similar to the Red Ranger and how he's holding his sword? This is why I kind of wish all of the sword-wielding characters had a dedicated sword-gripping hand at an angle, because with this, he can only really strike this way. But if I switch it to his right hand, which I have a special type of hand in, he now is holding his sword at an angle. You now can get these more pointing poses out of the figure because of that. And this is actually something I wanted in the Beast Morpher, or not just Beast, all the Lightning Collection, is a hand like this. Either a dedicated hand, or to change how the joint in the hand turns from going this way to bending more this way. So yeah, that is the one thing that I really wish Hasbro would change with future figures, is to just kind of ditch the way they're currently doing the hands and switch that up. Either give us hands that are more dedicated at the angle for the figure, or change where the hinge is so the hands, instead of bending this way, could bend outward instead. I think it would work much better for the figures. Overall, however, I do think this figure is good. However, this loose-fitting piece is definitely the thing that I think is going to make or break anyone's experience with this toy. It certainly made me give a double take. For a good hour, I thought this figure was just absolutely horrible because of that. But on retrospective, I think it is a lot better. I do, however, think that Hasbro either should have A, glued these straps in, or B, pegged them in, then glued that peg in there, so at least they wouldn't be able to rock around as much as they do. I do plan to get eventually a second figure, specifically so I can see if I can glue that part in without ruining it. If I can not only glue it on the back, but also on the shoulders and the side, so it'll still allow the plastic to flex so he can move his shoulders, but without messing it up. I'm going to see if I can do something like that. But I want to get a second figure so I don't have a figure, so I don't mess up the figure I currently display. So, until next time, this is Titan Zed saying I'll see ya when I see ya.